Peace, 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 peace. Welcome back to the UNI Temple for the sun, planets, moon, and stars. I'll be your Lord of Hosts, Lord Messiah. And today we going into the Universal Trust. The Universal Divine Family Trust. Or the Universal Family Divine Trust. In the name of Allah, the Father, and Old Man Justice, peace to the 9 firstborn and Allah's 5% nation of gods and earths. So let's get into this, y'all. Alright. So, starting off here, of course we're going to give, respects and due, you know what I mean? So this here is the Board for Divine Trusteeship for Allah U Justice Estates, Revocable Divine Trust. What is the Revocable Divine Trust? The Revocable Divine Trust is the trust that will basically govern these trust administrations that the Board for Divine Trusteeship is establishing. So, let's continue. So, in honor of Universal Sham God Allah, Lord Messiah Allah presents the Universal Family Divine Trust. Why is this a Universal Family Divine Trust? We're going to get into all of that. We're going to break that down. So, the Universal Family Divine Trust. I'm about to break down how Divine Trust is drawn up in our universal flag. So you see that flag right there? That's the universal flag for the nation of gods and earth. Right? Designed by Universal Sham God Allah in 1966. So let's get it. The knowledge degree. What is the Board for Divine Trusteeship, and what are its functions under agreement with Allah U Justice Estates Divine Trust Territories? The Board for Divine Trusteeship is the appointed or elected group of individuals that has the overall responsibility for the management for Allah U Justice Estates Divine Trust Territories. The Board for Divine Trusteeship is basically the administrative body for Allah U Justice Estates Divine Trust Territories, which seeks to ensure the best interests of its stakeholders, patrons, beneficiaries in all manners of management and decision making. So, what region will be the founding region for Divine Trust administration of the Board for Divine Trusteeship for Allah U Justice Estates Divine Trust Territories, and why? Answer. The founding region for Divine Trust administration shall be Harlem, New York, being that we are nationals/citizens and or state nationals for Allah's 5% nation state, having our origins in this world near the wilderness of North America, and more specifically in Harlem, New York, which we as a nation know as the holy city of Mecca, where the knowledge and wisdom of the original people started when our nation was first founded by the Father Allah and Old Man Justice. Alright. So what is the historical background of our Divine Trust, properly known as Allah U Justice Estates Revocable Divine Trust and Allah U Justice Estates Divine Trust Territories? What is the divine will of Allah, and how were they established? Lastly, how shall human families in the Divine Trust Territories establish their own divine trust according to the symbology of our universal flag? Answer. According to our nation's history, known as the Bomb History, aka the greatest story never told, Allah began teaching 9 black youth. The 9 black youth came known to be as the first These 9 black youth came to be known as the firstborn. They were Kareem, or Black Messiah, Naheem, or Bismi Allah, Uhuru, Kahim, Al-Jabbar, or Prince Allah, Al-Jamel, Bilal, or Jihad, also known as ABG7, Allah born God number 7, Akbar, and Al-Salam. They called Allah the Father because many of them were products from broken homes, and this was the only father that they had known. Thus, Allah taught his 5%. Allah taught his first 9 born. Alright, so the Father, Allah, taught 9 students known as the 9 firstborn, and he gave them divine instructions as the Father of civilization and God of the universe to teach 10 students of their own. By them teaching 10 students equal 90 students, including the 9 firstborn themselves, equaling 99 students, or 99 names / attributes of Allah, showing and proving that he was the one who is Allah, Father of civilization and God of the universe, through divine law, a body of law that is perceived as deriving from transcendent source, such as the will of God or gods, in contrast to man-made law or to secular law, and through the laws of succession, the process of inheriting a title, office, or property, etc. So the titles they received as the first 9 born and the names they received made them the first 9 lieutenants of Allah as the captain, and we're about to get into that. So, divine trust of Allah. As well, under spiritual agreement, verbal agreement, which is divine trust, that word is bond and bond is life, and that they will give their lives before their word shall fail. This bond was the indebted / entrusted divine instructions or transcendental knowledge granted or bestowed of the captain or divine truster, the Father Allah, to his sons to go forth and build a righteous nation based on the knowledge of self and supreme mathematics as the foundation. Therein, divine trust was established by the granting of divine knowledge of the divine truster / captain, the Father Allah, carried out through verbal provisions given from mouth to ear of divine wisdom to the divine trustees / lieutenants, the 9 firstborn, which was the teachings, which was teaching what Allah had told them to the benefit of the divine beneficiaries / private soldiers, which is the law of 5% nation. The divine lieutenants or divine trustees, the 9 firstborn, went forth to spread the divine knowledge, instructional information through their divine wisdom, wise words, ways, and actions into the bureaus of New York City and made them divine trust territories of civilization under divine trust for the divine understanding and cultural growth and development of the divine beneficiaries or private soldiers, the youth / babies near the boroughs of New York City, taught by the 9 firstborn under divine trust for Allah. So, in the name of Allah, the Father, as a divine truster, established himself as the captain under divine trust. The duty of the captain is to the duty of the captain is to give orders to the lieutenant. The lieutenant's duty is to teach, also train the private soldiers. Therefore, one having knowledge, wisdom, understanding, culture, refinement, and is not a savage, can teach or can seek the pursuit of happiness with the knowledge that he is God, cipher divine. That is the mathematical meaning of civilization. Divine trusteeship is established as he is now duty, or as he now, or he has now a duty of a civilized person, which is the provisions as a lieutenant and divine trustee under divine trust. And those provisions are: 1. To teach the uncivilized people who are savage, A. civilization, B. righteousness, C. the knowledge of themselves, D. the science of everything in life, E. love, F. peace, and G. happiness. And if a civilized person, divine trustee under divine trust, does not perform his duty, which is to teach civilization to others, and to teach also train the private soldiers, they should be punished with a severe punishment. The prescribed law of supreme mathematics of the said person of that ability is that the civilized person is responsible or held responsible for the uncivilized, and he must be punished by the nation of gods or earths. This is the divine trustee, who is trustworthy or untrustworthy, who qualifies himself as trustworthy or untrustworthy under the divine trusteeship within the divine trust of Allah. Divine will of Allah. As well, divine will was established through the granting, giving of the Father's knowledge, wisdom, sacrifice of time, his life, and his truth, etc., which were his provisions slash powers, or his powers slash provisions of will as the true and living God. So as the true and living God, he manifests his will. You know what I mean? He gave all he had and all within his power to see this glorious day in which his sons and daughters, the gods of earths, inherit as divine beneficiaries for the divine will of Allah. Through the divine will of Allah, we inherited the Allah School of Mecca slash the land he left us, also the enriched culture of supreme mathematics, which we learn to use and secure some benefit while we are living, which is luxury, money, good homes, friendship in all walks of life, etc. St. Luke chapter 12, 47 verse, and that servant which knew his Lord's will, and prepared himself not, neither did according to his own will, shall be beaten with many stripes. Right? So that's the will of Allah. You know what I'm saying? Knowing your Lord's will and preparing yourself, you know what I mean? And doing according to your own will. So therefore, the 9 firstborn, they had the will or divine instructions from Allah. So they knew what their Lord's will was to do. And they did according to their own will, which was to teach the 9 students, you know what I'm saying, 10 students of their own and so forth, and spread the wisdom. So, according to our Baum history, as Allah had told them, if they ever needed him, all they had to do was come together. In 1971, the gods of earth came alive as a nation. They selected representatives to attend international events at the United Nations. They started teaching black youths. They started teaching black youths in other states. So if we look at that right there was an international manifestation of statehood and spreading out throughout these different boroughs. So starting near the Knowledge region and now Y, which is New York, Harlem became Mecca, aka the holy city of Mecca. Brooklyn became Medina. Queens became the desert, aka the oasis. Bronx became Pelon, aka Patmos. Long Island became Lord's Island, aka Love Islam. Staten Island became Savior's Island, aka Shaolin. And New Jersey became Now Justice, aka New Jerusalem. So, furthermore, the divine lieutenants or divine trustees for the board for divine trusteeship, under agreement with the International Board for Divine Trusteeship shall continue in divine instructions given by the Father Allah to teach civilization as the pursuit of happiness, to see Allah's world manifest within the formal designation of borders defined as Allah U Justice Estates Divine Trust Territories. The establishment of divine trust in the territories shall be performed by the divine trustees / lieutenants, teaching all human families how to establish their own divine trust as a universal family according to the symbology of our universal flag, designed by Universal Sham God Allah in 1966 and was ordained by the Father Allah in 1967. This is when the Father came home from Manawan, and he seen how his nation had grown by how many 5%ers there were, showing and proving that we have been teaching. So, how divine trust is drawn up in our universal flag. So, universal family trust, the divinity of the number 7, the universal divine trust protector. So, we're going to break down the universal flag and show and prove how there is a trust within our flag. You know what I'm saying? And you see how I just broke down the provisions of the trustees through the divine trust, right? That the 9 firstborn had lived out. Basically, they manifest that like verbally, physically, through their actions, through their divine wisdom. They manifest that trust through teaching in these different boroughs, creating different trust territories of civilization. And now we're about to bring the administration of trust to these territories for our divine family trust, our universal family divine trust, rather I say. So we're going to break down the different aspects of the flag and how there is a trust or a divine trust within our flag through the different symbols in our flag. So we're going to start with the number 7, which is the universal divine trust protector. So the number 7 represents Allah, who is the universal mind and divine trust protector. The number 7 represents the supreme mathematical unit which embraces the moon and star within the center sphere of the sun. The number 7 is the universal divine trust protector, for he stands in front of the moon and star as the entrusted protector of the universal family. The 7 represents the supreme controlling force and power of the universe, which is the mind known as Allah. For within Allah's mental powers or provisions, all heavenly bodies, families, communities, nations are held together under universal divine trust of Allah. E. 7 is God, which borns build or destroy. As it is understood that the conscious black man is God and has the responsibility and is endowed with the physical powers / provisions to control, protect, and provide for the universal family and nation as a whole. F. The number 7 is black, representing the original black man. You know, we know blackness is melanin, not the legal status of black, which makes us non-descendant Muslim people. So when we say black, we mean the origin, the foundation. We talk about the melanin, the black gene, which is the original gene, you know, so forth and so forth. So, representing the original black man, it should have 7 points and 7 sides, for Allah is all in all and complete within self. All this that you see, such as the sun, moon, and stars, are all brought forth and held together in their proper order and fixed formation, whether willingly or unwillingly, by the original peoples, who is Allah. Therefore, the 7 represents Allah, the universal divine trust protector, and the universal divine trust scheduler, who encompasses everything in the universe as property of a universal estate. The universe is everything. Sun, moon, and stars, they are planets. Planets are something that was made or grown from the beginning. divine is a characteristic, or rather the nature of the original people, who is Allah, meaning godly. The divine truster. So now we're going to break down, went from the divine trust protector, now we're going into the divine truster, the trustee and the beneficiary. Right? So the divine truster, the sun represents knowledge, who is the original man, the captain and divine truster. His provisions as divine truster. A, as the sun is to shine the light as energy and intelligence. B, as knowledge is to build a home for himself and family, live a respectful life, and be a mastering original man. C, as original man is to be the maker and owner by making her, teaching and or marrying her, and owning her to have and to hold to death do us part. Planting your cream in her planet Earth, fathering the civilization of the children born, and ultimately being the God of your universe. D, as captain is to give orders to the lieutenant. As divine truster is to write the actual divine trust on paper, get it notarized and authenticated in his state, and establish himself as a divine truster, granting all properties, powers, and provisions to the divine trustee. The divine trustee. 2. The moon represents wisdom, who is the original woman, lieutenant, and divine trustee. Her provisions / powers as divine trustee. A, the moon is to reflect the light of the sun of man and make the understanding of the stars visible to all to see, for all to see. B, as wisdom is to keep a home, how to raise their children, how to keep their husbands, sew, cook, and in general, how to act at home and abroad. C, as a lieutenant is to teach, also train the private soldiers. And D, as a divine trustee is to carry out all provisions / powers granted to her by the divine truster. The divine beneficiaries. 3. The stars represent understanding, who are the original child or children, private soldiers, and divine beneficiaries. Their benefits as beneficiaries, as divine beneficiaries. A, as the stars is to gleam in the shine of their father / son and reflection of their mother / moon. As understanding is to acquire, grow, and develop from the knowledge and wisdom of their father and mother. By honoring their father and mother, their days shall be long on the earth. C, as private soldiers is to acquire the teachings and training of their lieutenant given by the orders of her captain. D, as the divine beneficiaries, to ascend into the appointed positions as successor divine trusters, successor divine trustees, and inherit all assets minus the liabilities, also all titles, offices, properties, etc., passed on via the divine trust in the aspiration of building generational wealth for the benefit of the universal family through or via a universal family divine trust. So this is how we're showing the people in the divine trust territories, the human families, how to establish their own divine trust through the symbology of our flag. The trust is right there in our flag. We never even seen it all this time. The truth was right here in our face. But your righteous brother, Lord Messiah, is pointing this out for you. That's why I break this down. So now we're going into the universal cipher of the earth. Okay? So the universal family divine trust is also represented through the universal cipher of the earth. 6 miles below the white clouds is our planet Earth, which is represented within the center sphere of the sun. The cipher, or CI power her, CIPHER, meaning CI power her, with the light of the sun, the knowledge of the original man, orders of the captain, and all the provisions/powers granted to her by the divine truster. In return, HERPICEE, meaning her power I see, through her reflection of the sun's light onto the stars, her wisdom as the original woman, the teaching, also training of the private soldiers, and carrying out all the powers/provisions administrated by her divine trustee, by her as the divine trustee. Therefore, CI power her, and in return, her power I see. So in a nutshell, a universal family divine trust is established when a man makes money. He then grants/gives to his woman, and she is then entrusted to manage the money or acquired funds, assets, estates, etc., in order to take care of the home for the benefit of the children. The universal family divine trust is being established in writing. Part of self. The universal family divine trust being established in writing creates a divine obligation for a contractual agreement in which no state shall pass any law impairing the obligations of contracts. Also, by divine law, showing and proving, in the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. That Word is bond, and that bond is life. And we shall give our lives before our word shall fail. In simple terms, a man stands on his word in life as a truth on his square. "22 points of power and 22 provisions of divinity." So, if we see in our flag, right, there are 22 total points on our universal flag. The sun has 8 points, the moon has 2 points, the star has 5 points, and the 7 has 7 points. So, you do the math, 8 plus 5 plus 2 plus 7 equals 22, showing and proving the victory of our culture over the devil's uncivilization. Because as we know, 22 in our alphabet is V, which is victory. 2 and 2 is 4, which is culture. So it shows and proves the victory of our culture, that our flag is victorious. Also, when we wave our flag is victorious. 22 points represent that victory. So in reflection of the 22 points of power, we also see 22 provisions of divinity in our universal family divine trust. So 9 provisions, A through I, for the universal divine trust protector / the number 7. 5 provisions, A through E, for the divine truster / sun. 4 provisions, A through D, for the divine trustee / moon. And 4 provisions, A through D, for the divine beneficiary / star. So these 22 provisions, which will bring about a victorious culture for the original peoples, which is based upon the original man, woman, and child below, represented by the sun, moon, and star above, as above, so below, governing themselves as captains, lieutenants, and private soldiers, which is all based upon the divine laws of divine knowledge, divine wisdom, and divine understanding, as they administrate their universal families as divine trusters, divine trustees, and divine beneficiaries under the divine obligation, contractual agreement of a universal family divine trust, as we see represented in our universal flag. Peace to Universal Sham God Allah for revealing this divine manifestation. And this is in honor of Universal Sham God Allah. You know what I mean? Because that's the God that designed our universal flag. And you see his manifestation. So now we're going to get into the divine laws of Allah. So in the name of Allah, divine laws makes this trust divine, being that it is established under divine guidance and divine providence in the name of Allah. As we see, surrounding our flag, it says in the name of Allah, right? That is the divine guidance and divine providence, which establishes this divine trust as being under divine law. You understand? Also, being that the Father created a divination system, root word of divination, divine, you see divine and divination system, through his 5% nation of gods and earths, in which honors, not worships, the Father, Allah, as a divine entity, and the gods of earth as his divine successors in the name of Allah. Like we all come in the name of Allah, right? So as our bomb history says, just to qualify that fact, in 1967 Allah began to teach the brothers and sisters that they were gods, began to teach the brothers that they were gods also, as he had realized in himself. He had them change their names from Muslim names to come in the name of Allah as their family name, and take on names from their mathematics and alphabet to go with it, right? So we all came in the name of Allah. So thus, for example, a 5%er with a name like I-Islam was renamed Allah, which is understanding Master Allah. Rest in peace to the God. Hakim was renamed Born Allah. Dahu was renamed Knowledge Allah, and so on and so on. So they all came in the name of Allah. Allah was very particular at distinguishing his nation from the Muslims. Right? Thus, we do not worship Allah, the Father, as a mystery God or a righteous and unseen being who exists everywhere. We know and understand that Allah is the universal mind manifested in the physical body consisting of an arm, leg, arm, head, A-L-L-A-H, and is not unseen, is seen, and is heard everywhere, for he is the all-eye-seeing. In the name of Allah, the universal divine trust protector, the Black Seven, our universal flag has 22 points of power and 22 provisions of divinity, manifested through the mental and physical powers of the original man, woman, and child, sun, moon, and star, as captains, lieutenants, and private soldiers, administrating themselves as divine trusters, divine trustees, and divine beneficiaries through our universal family divine trust. Peace. By Lord Messiah Allah. Peace to the gods and the earths.